Hello everybody, welcome back to part 2 of our daily blog, and Jared gave me a 5-minute break this time, didn't you, Jared? Because normally I get a second, but I've managed to get myself a top up on my drinks and managed to use the gents, so that's all good and done. So I should be able to go for another half an hour with you guys. And when I came back in, Jared, what did you share with me, Jared, from the news?
I was just going through Instagram, and just saw that Miguel from Always Evolving Pythons just hit a orange dream, yellow belly, clown pied, possible leopard.
Wicked.
Just show you what it looks like. It was pretty wicked.
Yeah.
Finally, my orange dream, yellow belly, clown pied, which might be possible leopard too. Holy hell, man.
That's wicked.
Out of 8 eggs, I was able to hit
Definitely
one.
something we're shooting for.
So freak this. Look at that.
Well, that's fantastic, Jared. I mean, we're shooting for something very similar to that. It's going to take us a few years, but all I'd say is congratulations to Miguel, and well done for hitting that 1 out of 8 eggs. That guy is just on fire, isn't he, Jared? We love him, and we'd love to do a collab with you, Miguel, if you ever get a chance to connect with us. Maybe in a couple of years when we get a little bit bigger, maybe, but you can surprise us if you like. Give us a shout. Jared may have to give you a shout, but we'd love to do something with you. You inspire us. We love your family setup. We love your snake setup. We love the way you've connected, and you're a true leader in this area. And you've only been doing it a few years, so that's what's impressed me. And you've helped inspire me get into this, because I'm thinking, my goodness me, there's some great opportunities here, and some great opportunities to build good friendships. And I love that. And that reminds me of what Wayne was saying to me last night. He got into it, and he'll share his thoughts with us when we do the Zoom meeting tonight. I'm not going to preempt what he's going to say, except to give you a little bit of a taste of who he is in terms of his heart. He's not out here, he's not in the community to make a whole bunch of money out of snakes, and I love that. He is here to, for example, when he went to a show, and he's been doing this for 20 years, when he went to a show, he told me last night, he said, the joy of being in this hobby is producing a gecko or a snake or a bearded dragon, whatever you're producing, going to a show, and you're all prepared, you've got high-end quality animals that you've nurtured and loved, and you want to make sure they go to good homes. He wasn't interested about the money, he's interested in the whole experience. So he's teaching me a lot there. Thank you, Wayne. Because my first snake sale, Jared, can you remember the first snake sale I ever made?
I remember you called me up about a pied, asking if it was a good deal.
No, I mean, I'm talking about, you've made most of the sales.
Oh, as in the one that you sold?
Yeah, you sold the first 3 or 4 snakes when we got going earlier this year, when we started to set up New Forest Morphs. We've only been going a few months. So Jared is our marketing man. He's going to be the future of this business when it gets into business, but at the moment it's a hobby. I got so much joy from Edwin and his family coming into this facility. They came to buy a snake, but the thing that made my day more than anything else is to see the light in the eyes of the children, and the smiles and the joy. We are providing more for the communities. I mean, the way I look at it is, we're providing a service to help strengthen individuals and families and comfort them, give them love and give them something beautiful. And so I guess if there was a mission statement in our little business, it would be to bring joy to those that we connect with. And if the snakes bring us joy and bring us together, then to me that has to be the greatest payback for getting involved in this hobby. I mean, look at the friendships that we've developed. We've got Rob, got Rich, got Wayne, I'm trying to develop a friendship with every single subscriber on our channel, Jared. And not everybody communicates, and I respect that. People like to listen and learn, and they like to grow, and they might be a little bit shy to come forward with their opinions and ideas, but I'm going to encourage you to connect with us privately. Instagram, Jared will take your Instagram message privately.
Or Facebook, where Dad will take your message.
Yeah, I take quite a few. It's amazing how many messages I'm getting on my Facebook, personal, which I don't share anything personal on this channel, by the way, just to reassure you. Anything that's put in the public domain on my YouTube account, where people have put open comments, if I feel inspired, and with your permission, I'd like to bring them into the blog. But anything that goes into any private, including your dresses when we send you t-shirts, is absolutely secure and goes nowhere. Am I right, Jared?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to give you that reassurance that feel free to drop me a line, or Jared. We're here to help you through not just snake issues. If you've got any other issues out there, whether it's family related, whether it's your social relationships, your spiritual development, whether it's your physical well-being. You know, you can treat me, I mean, I'll probably be out of character and I'll call myself an agony aunt, if you like, because in my practice as an accountant, I don't just give tax and accounts advice and set up companies and help people with their businesses. They're all my friends and they call me up on a personal level. And I love that, because to me, it's not about the money. It's not about the money. It's not about the money. I believe there's a song out there. I'm going to have to dress up in my outfit and do a song for you guys about not just the money. It's all about, the real prize is being creative and artistic and bringing joy to the community. That's the real prize. Now, if more of us move into that way of thinking, and I think the majority do actually, there's only a handful of people I think that look at it as just a money-making business. I've always said that if you look after people, the rest takes care of itself. Am I right, Jared?
Yeah.
So you look at our accountancy practice, been in business 30 years. That has grown organically because of the love that we have for our clients. And we don't always get it right, and we have lost clients. Not very many, but we have. And, you know, we've made mistakes. We all make mistakes. It's not perfect. And we're going to make loads of mistakes in this channel, and we want you guys to forgive us and help us to improve. And that leads us nicely on to answering now. Let's get to some snakes. And I bet people are gagging on this antibiotics thing. So, Nick and Emmanuel, this is for you and everyone else really, but I am so grateful for your comments, because I spent 3 hours yesterday researching your viewpoint and trying to establish what's going on so I can learn. So thank you so much. I'm going to use my iPad. I haven't made that many notes, but the gist of it is that Nick White said, I didn't know this, neither did Jared and I, we've got this F10 S60 that we were recommended to get by the vet, and I didn't realise that this is, I thought this was just one product. I didn't realise this company has 20 different products. Did you know that, Jared?
I didn't know.
No. So can you see how a simple mistake of being told get some F10, put it in your humidifier, we thought we were doing the right thing. Turns out Nick said there's an antiseptic version of that, which is less aggressive, much more softer on the snake's internal organs, that he recommends we should use. So, of course, me thinking, oh my goodness me, I didn't realise that. Thank you so much, Nick. And I went on to eBay, and if you come with me, Jad, I'll show you the product so you can see. We're going to order this today, Jad. You can order this today. Once you get, let me get your views first. So I never like to do anything with Jad's views. So we're a true partnership. I come up with an idea, Jad comes up with an idea, we discuss it, and then we agree it together, so that there's no problems or fallout. So it's part of etiquette again in partnership. So there you go, Jad. There's the product. Can you see that? So it's called an F10 Antiseptic Solution. It's on there. And how much does it cost? Look, you get 2 for that price. So you're going with 12 quid. 12 quid, and that could solve your problem. So in the community, half of the community I think are against fogging and misting with F10, and the other half saying to me that it's really good. The half that's telling me it's really good, 3 of them are top breeders, okay, that recommend it. One of them's huge, which I think is Brian Barczyk, who's so respected in the industry, Jared. He put out he even did a video on it, I think, somewhere. But he put a video out saying what they do. I love his transparency, Jared, because he's got a big collection and he makes a lot of money out of his snakes. And yet he put a video out saying, I've got RR issues, but let's nip it in the bud. He's a man after my own heart, because if we get problems here, Jared, we're going to be transparent and we're going to say, this is what we're doing and this is how we're going to go about it. And I thought, how many other top breeders would do that? Well, I bet you many of them won't. They're probably more concerned about their reputation, I'm guessing. Or they might think that by doing so you could bring down the community from all the haters out there. But I think we need to be transparent, and we need to show how much we love these animals by caring for them and improving them. Now, Hamlin came up with a really good thought the other day, and my love goes out to Hamlin and his family as well. He was asking about the lung issue in the snakes, and we were trying to work out how many lungs the snake had, and he came up with this idea that he said in the wild, you've probably got a lot of the ball pythons living in much cleaner environments, more freedom to move, yeah? So they can survive comfortably with one lung, or part of a lung. You know, there's 2 lungs, they might have either one lung or they might have a second lung through evolution that's no longer required. Because a snake adapts, if you think about it, a snake has to move quickly on the ground, and having 2 lungs could, you know, either side in a symmetrical pattern could slow down his ability to move, capture prey and get out of the way of any other predator that might want to eat him. So over the years, I wonder whether over evolution it's become a lean, slim fighting machine that can move quicker. But as a result, that means that when we take them into captivity, which are outside of their normal environment, they've only got one lung to cope with any issues. And there might be more issues for us keeping them in captivity than there will in the wild, because you've got humidity we're trying to create, we've got all the 3 balls to juggle, you've got air quality, you've got humidity and temp. Whereas in the natural environment, Mother Nature knows how to give that to them and they'll go and seek it. So we are privileged to have snakes in captivity, but we've got an extra responsibility to get everything right, Jared, so that those snakes have a good life. And if we get it wrong, they're not going to get a good life. So the more we discuss it and the more we discuss the best way of treating everything that goes wrong, there'll be less of us having problems and we'll enjoy our snakes, and therefore the hobby will be protected. But if we don't discuss it and this gets out of control and it becomes a nightmare, heaven forbid what could happen. So I think that it's in our interest as a community to solve our own problems. Would you agree, Jack?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I'll leave that one to one side, but if you want any comments on that, let me know. So there we go. So we're going to order that, Jad. Do you want to order it?
Yeah.
Order that today. And then what we're going to do is we're going to carry on with the humidifying approach to treating our snake, but this time we're going to switch down from the F10. What was that? That was a disinfectant.
Yeah, so this is the F10 disinfectant.
Yeah.
You can still use it for fogging.
Just read
it says spraying. Let's see if I can get it.
So why you do that, Jared? Disinfectants are supposed to be used. Nick's point was disinfectants are used on surfaces. Antiseptics are used on bodies and inside our bodies. It's like a mouthwash is not a mouthwash. It's a mouthwash antiseptic because we can put it in our mouth safely. But if you put in a mouthwash disinfectant, would you like to put in a mouthwash disinfectant?
No, I agree.
It's a good point. I think he's got an absolutely spot on point there, and I really appreciate that. I think I stand completely corrected. You know, it's not because we read the instructions, and the company that produces that has got to change that. I think, Jared, they've got to say if you want to use fogging, use this product. Because at the moment there might be a lot of people saying that it doesn't work. No wonder it doesn't work.
I'm interested, when we buy the other one, I'm interested to see what the difference is between the two, because sometimes brands will use the same thing and just rebrand it in different ways and charge more for one.
Okay.
So we'll find out.
Let's do it, Jared.
We'll buy the same thing, we'll test them against each other, see what it is.
Yeah.
Find out for ourselves.
So I think that's one correction we're going to make. There were 3 corrections I picked up. One from, I think 2 from Nick, and I think 1 from Emmanuel, which Emmanuel, Jared, means God is with us. Maybe he is with us, and it's coming through Emmanuel's comments. And I'm thinking to myself that what was Emmanuel's point? He was saying that he's got 3 or several top breeders who've guided him. He's quite new to the hobby, I think, but he's got a lot of. He's looking for a mentor. He's looking for a Jedi Master. And I think I picked up because I think he commented on one of Rich's videos, and I said to him at the time, it was a bit of a joke to much you, I said, because he was looking for a Jedi Master, and I'm no Jedi Master, I'm what they call, I think from my perspective as a baby in the industry, I see myself as someone that is, in the Jedi Order, if you're training a Jedi, Jad, do you know how they do it?
No.
Because I researched that and studied it as well. And what happens is, the kids are brought to a temple. They changed the way they did it because at one point the Jedi Master used to have 5 or 6 students, but the Jedi's changed the order and said it's best to go 1-to-1 with the Jedi Force. So the Master gives all his attention to one
Padawan.
Yeah, what does that mean, Jared? Do you know?
Apprentice.
Apprentice. It's someone that's there's a term for it. It means something. It's the ability to learn and grow. And when you get to a certain level, you're then put through a test before you become a Jedi Knight. So you have to pass all these tests. And then when you become a Jedi Knight, you have to work towards becoming a Jedi Master. So I think you and I are at the lower stage, Jared. Would you agree? And there's a few people out there that are Jedi Knights, and there's a few people out there that are Jedi Masters. And obviously, if you've got access to a Jedi Master, which I think Emmanuel says he has, we have to listen. Okay? And we have. But I've got access to at least one Jedi Master, in my opinion, and probably a couple of Jedi Knights, which are quite helpful, because those Jedi Knights and that Jedi Master are going to guide me through this. And I haven't got a physical, real relationship with them in terms of huggy, brother to brother. We're not walking together in a physical sense, but boy, we are walking together in a virtual reality sense by YouTubing and contacting each other, phoning each other and talking to each other. So the Force has no limits, Jared. So although you want that physical presence, remember in the films, each Jedi Knight can communicate using telepathy, and they can use mind to mind. They're talking and feeling each other. And that's what brothers do. You know what your brother's feeling even if you're not physically with them. Like, for example, the people around the world we haven't met, but I can feel for them and I can feel their hearts, because the Spirit, what I call the Spirit, is the Force. The Holy Spirit is like the Force for me. The Holy Spirit guides us in ways that are miraculous to help us to meet people's needs without us even knowing them, but God knows them. And He can touch our hearts to do something, to be the hands of the Saviour. So the Saviour may not be here present at the moment, but we are His hands. Every act of love and service, as we represent Him in service, we become His hands. So, Emmanuel, if you're looking for a Jedi Master to train you, I think the reality is you'll probably be lucky to get a Jedi Knight. And if you're willing to get a Jedi Knight, you want someone in the lockdown to be a remote Jedi Knight, whether it's a YouTuber that you trust, whether it's a friend that you trust, whoever. And I'm told that it's the Jedi Master that selects his trainee, if you like. Now, I thought the other day it should be either way, but apparently you've got to wait for someone to come to you. So if you're approached by someone you trust, pick up that vibe and run with it. If you get approached by someone you don't trust, don't run with it. Okay? So that'll be the answer to your question on that one. Let's get back to it. So the next thing we're going to discuss is there's 3 things I've learned from the feedback. One of them was to use this. The second one, Jack, was to buy a better humidifier, which you placed the order yesterday. You went for the recommendation that I gave. $100. It's coming in a couple of days. We're going to use that. So we're going to use the new humidifier, going to use the new antiseptic. We're going to move away from our emergency makeshift creation, which was an emergency. Just to reiterate, that was an emergency construction to get to our snake under the vet's advice. And we realised that being baby Jedi Knights or Jedi trainees, we probably didn't get it right, but we did our best, and that's part of your learning curve. You start somewhere and you step up. So now we're at the next level, I guess, when it comes to treatment, Jared. So that's the second thing we're going to do. That humidifier, or that Fogger, or yeah, that gives us.
You're a vlogger.
Yeah. So I think the reason why our first experiment isn't working very well with our snake that's got the RO issues, not really shaking it, is because number 1, we're using the wrong F10. Number 2, the nebulizer, which is designed for human use, has a very slow, low release of the mist, which I think is good, because you don't want to be hitting your snakes too hard too early. You've got to gently gauge how the snake reacts to what you're doing. So my recommendation will be, with the new one that's coming, start on a low dial and gauge the reaction of the snake and see whether he's happy or not, or whether it's a problem. If you turn it up slightly, you can turn it up and then gauge a reaction. So you're gently going up the degrees like you would with weight training. Now, if I said to Jared, I want you to press 400 pounds, would you handle that?
No.
No. But if I said to you, can you handle 200?
Right now, yeah.
Yeah. So Jared could do bench press 200. But if I said to him, I want you to jump straight to 400, yeah.
I've never been able to do 400.
No.
260 was my best.
260 is Jared's best. So what I'm trying to say here is that we don't go full on these floggers and actually give full out, because you're just like giving a young kid 400 pounds to bench press. It's ridiculous. You gently ease them in and you find out what they can do, and you bring their strength and resilience up. So I think the approach we take is initially quite gentle, and then we would gauge the reaction and gauge the improvement and see whether it needs a little bit more. If it does and doesn't, and we take advice from the vet at every stage. Would you agree, Jared?
Yeah.
So we've got to get back in touch with the vet. Going to have a few words with the vet, by the way, because she wasn't very clear on telling us all this. She just said, get some F10 and do it. And I thought, okay, fine, we followed her. I should have been more on it myself and asked her more questions. So it's partly my mistake, but we're learning and we're growing from it, and hopefully we'll all learn from it. Now, what was the third thing I learned from these two guys that gave us feedback when I did my research? The third thing I learned was that we're doing it the vet said to us do it 20 minutes a day. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
So we followed her instructions, and it's not happening for us. Then I did the research, and the master Jedis out there are teaching in a different way. So I'm taking advice from a master Jedi. I won't say who he is, but he's a master Jedi. And what he said to me was, he said, do it 20 minutes in the morning. Yeah. Don't take the snake out of the rub. You leave it in there for another 20 minutes. But you switch it off, but you leave it in the mist for another 20 minutes. Up to. You've got to, and again, this is all gauging the reaction of your snake. So this is what they're saying is, this is the upper levels of where you can go. And he said, if you do that in the morning, and you use the right F10, and you use the right controls, so you're putting in the right level of mist, which you will have to gauge that by the animal's reaction. Then you rest, and then in the evening, if the snake is able to handle it, you do the same again. You do it twice a day. I thought, wow, it's a lot of work, but mind you, you've got to keep an eye on them, but the machine does most of the work. As long as if you're multitasking but keeping an eye on it as well, you should be able to do that. And then I'm thinking, Jared, we might have to try that and just see how the snake, if the snake suddenly, they're saying that you can clear this in a week if you catch it early, Jared. And I'm like, we've been 3 weeks on this and there's only slow progress. Pulling my hair out really, it's not happening. And I can see why half the community don't believe in it, because maybe they're not doing it right. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, let me have your comments, guys. 3 great things that we've learned. Thank you so much, guys, and we shall try that one. Okay, moving on up. So let me just get my notes. We talked about the antibiotics. So there are, again, we're not going to go into detail. Tomorrow we'll probably go through the detail of the antibiotics. So how much time would we have, Jared?
6 minutes.
Perfect, absolutely perfect. So, introduction to antibiotics. Jared, why do we use antibiotics, and what is an antibiotic?
Well, if you've got a sick snake and your vet recommends it, then you use it.
Yeah. So I found a really good website. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see if I can get this now. Here we go. Ways of treating reptiles, Jared. Has that come up on the screen? There we go. There's a little bit of homework for everybody before tomorrow if you want to do some research. This is from a company called GWEexotics.com. GWEexotics.com. You've got someone that keeps snakes. That's I think he's a vet, a very good vet. Okay, and he's a reptile breeder and a veterinary surgeon. Tariq Abu Zaha follows up on his article last month on what can be done for a sick reptile, switching away from methods of diagnostics of the cause of the illness to the growing range of possible treatments, options that are now available. So please, I'm not going to go through it now, have a good read of that before tomorrow to prepare yourself for what's going to come. Okay? If you want to do homework. Sorry, I'm putting on a bit of a schoolmaster approach here. But that's what I'd recommend. I'll give you a little snippet because it's beautiful. Look at that beautiful animal, Jared. Talks about therapeutic drugs. In not just snakes, he applies it to the whole of the reptiles here. He goes through all the different antifungals. Talks about antibiotics, when to use them. Lots of really good information here. You've got capsule approaches, talks about bacterias, talks about damaged cell walls. So it's like the snake anatomy, let's study the treatment and break it down and work out what's trying to happen, what we're trying to do. What are the pros and cons of each method so you can make a judgment call. It's all about learning before you practice. Yeah? He talks about antivirals. He talks about anti-parasitic drugs. Okay? He's even got a section on what we're discussing. A nebulizer dispenses the drug through a very fine mist in the air, enabling it to be breathed in. This method of treatment is very useful for combating respiratory ailments from a top reptile keeper and top veterinarian. So yeah, there's plenty of stuff out there, and he goes through all the stuff. He's even going in the genetic code. He's breaking down the genetic codes for us here as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's lots in here. Painkillers, supportive care. I'll let you read it, have a good look at it. I think it's a good article. So that leads me on from that. There's three, as far as I'm aware, there's three possible antibiotic treatments, Jad. Do you know what they might be? What's the you've done
injection?
One, we've done injections. So tomorrow you're going to do a demo on the injections. I'm not going to do it on a snake. I've got a couple of people that have done it on YouTube. We'll share with you. But Jared will bring out everything, and we'll go through a checklist of what we've been told to do and what we've done and what works for us. So you get a, if you like, a New Forest Morph angle on it. Remember, we're babies, so bear that in mind. We're learning. We want you to give us encouraging feedback, and we'll take it to the next level. And then, what's the second approach to antibiotics, Jared, besides actually injecting it with a needle?
Oral.
Oral. So we're talking about oral antibiotics, which can come in two subforms. The first one is by a, what method, Jared?
Tablet.
A tablet or a
I don't
syringe.
know if that would work for a snake though.
Yeah,
tablet.
yeah. If you look at Nerd have got a video, and they do it on another wild caught animal, and they treat them using a tablet form of antibiotic, and they actually use tongs to put it in. And I'm going to show you that. The other method we've got is using a syringe, where they syringe the antibiotic
Down the throat.
Down
Is
the
that one of
throat.
the long syringes?
Long syringe, and then there's a lady, a vet, that shows us, and I'll show you that tomorrow. And the third way, Jared, which surprised me, what's the third way, Jared?
I don't know.
Think about it. If you've got orally, what can go into a snake's body orally that can also contain antibiotics that could be good for the animal? Again, I've never done this, and I'm going to look at the pros and cons, so don't go ahead and do all these things until we've done full research, of course. It's actually, people believe that you can put an antibiotic into a rat or a mouse or a prey item, and then you can feed that to a snake, which sounds very controversial to me. Don't know whether it works. I'm going to look at it. I've got to look at every suggestion and option on the table that I think is worth looking at. I'm going to look at. So I'm going to look at that for you. So that's about it. The last thing I'm going to cover now is how to avoid food poisoning and how to avoid salmonella poisoning within a reptile house and touching reptiles. What would you recommend, Jared, to avoid salmonella poisoning?
Just wash your hands and don't touch your mouth while you're feeding or handling snakes.
When you're handling a snake, wash your hands for 20 seconds under a hot tap using soap or detergent, certainly an antibacterial side, before you touch another snake as well. Because you can pass one bacteria onto the other, we've covered that before. But also, cleaning surfaces, you can catch salmonella poisoning, food poisoning, off food, off surfaces and off animals. And believe you me, there's an article that I'm going to share tomorrow that will go into that in more detail. But please stay safe. Thank you for watching the channel. Don't forget to love and subscribe. And we shall see you tonight when we're looking forward to Wayne. Hopefully it's all going to happen. Bye bye for now.